Welcome on into the TWT show. I am sitting here with
Luz.
Luce. So talk to us, Luce. Talk to us. What do you do? How'd you find me? Just give me a brief little rundown of a little 2-3 minute elevator speech about who you are.
So I am Luz. I am a nurse. I recently changed jobs, but I used to work in a step-down unit, 12-hour shifts, 3 days a week. And I found you one day scrolling on Instagram, and nothing that I have not seen before, but I don't know why yours was different. I went in, look at all the other testimonies, and hey, we're gonna give it a try. And that's how I found you. I am a single mother as well. I have 2 kids, only my daughter living with me at the moment, who is a teacher, so keeps me busy as well. But yeah, that's my life in a nutshell.
Understood. Understood. So before you and I actually started working together, what kind of things were you struggling with?
um Being tired, like exhausted, like I had also a per diem job, besides my full-time job. So I was always exhausted, like living on fast food, you
Mm-hmm.
know easy way out, you
Yeah.
know um just literally just going to work, come home, sleep, going back to work, come back and sleep, so that was my routine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was like a vicious circle.
Just
But yeah, so that's what it was before.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you have any favorite excuses? Ones that like just kind of stuck out to you all the time?
I always said I didn't have the time, to exercise or to do anything else. I didn't have the time to come and cook, and that was always my excuse, like, oh, I prefer to sleep, or I don't have the time, I am too tired.
Mm,
Yeah.
I see. And how long was that like? So I think we started about 3 months ago. So how long were you kind of using those excuses up until we started working together?
Oh my God, for years.
Years.
Oh, it was for years. I always said the same thing, like, oh, my commute, is long now, so I cannot do this, I don't have the time. Once I get home, I always said, oh, once I get home, I'm gonna have something to eat, right? But I was coming in late, after 12, 13 hours of working at the hospital. And then I literally will come just to the fridge and just grab whatever it was there, So I was late at night. I will just eat and then go to sleep.
And who could blame you? If you're working that late and putting that much energy into your job and you got to take care of a family, it's like, well, can I catch a break? Like, what's going on here? Is there a camera here? What's going on here? So
Yes,
I can
yes,
imagine it'd be kind of tough to take care of the eating that way.
yes. And at work, always, there's always sweets or candies or anything at work, So sometimes that was my lunch and dinner, just go there, grab a cup, a couple of cookies or donuts or whatever it was there,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that was it, and I was surviving on coffee.
Right, right, right. So I think a lot of people who are watching this right now could probably relate to the coffee situation and then the sleep situation we're dealing with. I know you were mentioning. I want to go into too much detail, but if you want to, that's perfectly fine. I know you mentioned to me that you go to sleep, but you're not really sleeping.
Yes, exactly. Like
Mhm.
my um I was in I was the charge nurse, in this unit, and I had like a lot on my plate.
Mhm.
So once I left, I physically left the work, but mentally I was still there.
Mhm.
Will come home and I will start like still looking at emails, making sure everybody was okay, and I always said, oh, text me anytime, it doesn't matter, right? So I was there, like always with that in my mind, so I will go to sleep and I had like a lot of my mind, I will wake up and it's like, oh my God, like I feel exhausted. I feel like I never had a restful night.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so yes, it was really bad.
Yeah. And it's like the old analogy where if you have a cup of water and you hold it up for 1 second, not a big deal. 1 minute, okay, starting to feel something. An hour, now it's like I'm on fire. A whole day, now it's like you might have to cut our arm off because it's so painful. And so I
Yes,
mentioned that because one day of you doing that isn't going to kill you.
yes.
1 week, still maybe a stretch, but you might be okay. But when it's going on for months on end, years on end, it's like, okay, we've got a serious situation here.
Exactly. And but you don't realize it, like until you stop and really think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
What were some of the things that we did together that were different?
So the first thing was like put it in paper. You
Mhm,
know, what is what I wanted? What is my goal? What was I doing? You
mhm,
know, and one of the first things that really helped me, especially with sleeping, was
mhm,
doing my journal at night. You know,
mhm,
just
mhm.
get all that, from my mind, put it in paper and let it sit there.
Yeah.
So that helped me a lot. Like it was so simple, and at the beginning, yes, it took some time, but it was like so simple to do. You sit down, write down your things, and everything that you had in your mind. And then I was like, I remember the first time I did it and I had my 8 hours of sleep. I woke up and I was like, wait a minute, is that the time?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was really, really amazing,
Mhm,
and in the morning, you wake up and you write your intentions for the day, and just starting to really take it easy, at some point, like it's like everybody else is gonna survive, but I have to take care of myself, you
mhm,
know,
mhm.
and just really making sure that you are committed to yourself, like it's not for anybody else but for yourself. So that was
100%.
something different that I had never tried before, like not on that way. So that was really, really different.
Good, good, good. I think we mentioned from the jump. I know when we had our first call. Some of the people who are watching right now, they might be having their first call too. I know we had our first call. The first thing that stuck out was really, of course, the stress because of everything you had on your plate, but the sleep. I remember like yesterday, the sleep. Because you said the sleep and the caffeine were the two things right there. So if we could take care of those and we can get everything else to fall in that frame where you had better sleep and you weren't so reliant on the caffeine, you'd be in better shape.
Yes, definitely. Like I was just as I said, I was surviving on coffee, like I will have like, oh my God, I don't know, like maybe 6, 7 cups of coffee, and I was on blood pressure medication, as well. And, it was, now that I think about it, it was really bad,
Yeah.
but once you start making the changes, like you don't have to do it all like in one day, but, once you
Mhm.
start doing it and you see the
Mhm.
results, like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I like that. I like that. Wait, so now I'm curious. I know they were on learning this. I know everyone who's watching this probably tried something too that didn't work for them. What else did you try? And like, how's what we did anything different from what you tried before? Like,
So I had tried different diets or different exercises, but I really didn't know what was what was I doing really,
mhm,
like, oh yeah, let's go in YouTube and see a video of exercising, and I will try to do it. And of course I was like, I don't know, 2, 3 days later, it's like, yeah, like this is not working, so um or I will just come and try and just start eating, but without like looking at calories or protein or anything like that,
mhm,
So
mhm.
it was really just trying out things, really, and I think that that was one of the things, having a guidance, you
Yeah.
know, making sure, okay, this is what you need, this is what you need to do. Like we're gonna start slow,
Mhm,
and it's something that is related exactly to you, So that's what I really liked, that I will have like no, there is no pressure, right? Like we started doing it, when I started with an injury in my back with you,
Yeah.
so we're gonna start right away on the exercises and everything, So I think that that was different as well, because there was nobody pressuring me, like you have to do this and you have to do it and this is what you have to follow, and so, and I have tried, like I had researched before, and there was always some kind of pill that they will try to sell you, right? Like, oh, you have to take this pill, and this and that. So, but with you, it was not any of that,
Yeah.
you know. So I really like that.
Hmm. I'm glad, because I know we both kind of clicked immediately because we were both had a holistic point of view when it came down to the way we see the world around us. So it was like, okay, let's not do the pills. Let's not do the powders and the shakes and all the elixirs and potions and this magical stuff. Let's focus on what we can focus on right now based on who you are today.
Yes,
And should we need them down the line? Maybe, but right now it's focused on what can you change right now. That's the smallest thing that you can fix. That make the biggest impact.
yes,
That's how
definitely.
I went into it. I'm not sure if you noticed it. That's how I went into it. Like what can we do for you that would take the least amount of your time, that would make the biggest impact right now. Then we can start focusing on everything else. So it become easy for you. It feels easy for you. So at the end of the day, you can keep it going.
Yes,
That was always my goal.
yes,
That was always my goal.
definitely it worked. Like I always said, oh my goodness, I have to cook, and I have
Mm-hmm.
to do like my meal prep, and I'm like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, such a big task to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't, like once you get into it, really,
Mm-hmm.
like the recipes are really easy to make. They don't take
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time,
How
you
long did
know.
it take you?
Like at the beginning, of course, it was like maybe an hour, 2 hours, to
Yeah.
prep everything. But
Mm-hmm.
like I will say, like probably by the second, third week, it was like maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, on a Sunday, and that was it, like you know what to do, like you learn really, like if you really pay attention and you are committed to that, you
Yeah.
learn and you just do it. And then, like I started figuring things on my own, like making other recipes and
Mm-hmm.
or combining stuff, so it was like really, really easy at the end.
Yeah. 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 And no, I've always said it. I said that it's usually not hard. It's just unfamiliar. Like the way you mentioned that the first week it took you an hour or 2 hours. Now as time went on, it was half an hour. It's usually not that hard. It's like, oh, this is just different. But the more I do it, the more I'm familiar with it, and the easier it seems to be. Right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I guess you
Yeah.
saw it firsthand, and they can see you seeing it firsthand.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
like that, I guess fear of the unknown, right?
mhm.
Like, oh my God, I don't, and just the doubt on you, like I don't know if I can do it, if I hard, or or all that stuff. But once you really look into it and you put all those things aside, you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I tend to agree. I tend to agree. So that being said, we know what the process looked like. We know what you went through to get there, from things that pulled you back. So we implemented. They want to know, what are the results? How'd you do?
I did great. Like I started, I think, oh my goodness, I think it was like 146, 145, something like that. I started with, and I am 128 pounds now. And that is what, after 3 months.
Yep, about 12 weeks, 3 months. Yep.
Yeah,
Down
and
17, 18.
like as I said, I had the back injury when we started, so for I think it was a couple of weeks I couldn't do any exercises at the beginning.
Yeah. Yep.
So started just doing like the diet. Well, not diet, but like you know the
Nutritional.
the nutrition, like the whole
Yeah.
food and everything.
Yeah.
And I was amazed, like how even without exercising, like I could just see it in my body. Like I could see the difference, like, and then when I weighed myself the first week, I'm like, wait, what? Like,
Mhm.
how is this possible? Like just changing.
Yeah.
And then once I started, more into it, and that we needed to have more water, instead of coffee,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you can just feel it in your body, and it's like now I am not craving the coffee anymore. Like I'm craving the water, and like craving to put something whole in my body, and you
Right.
start, oh, like I don't want that fried thing anymore, so you stop all those cravings, you
Yeah.
know and it's not like, oh, one day you're just not gonna eat it anymore. It's just,
Hmm.
you don't need it. Your body doesn't need it.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
and you can see like the transformation, like from one week to the next. And now I am, as I said, 128 pounds.
Yeah.
um I feel stronger,
Hmm.
I feel stronger. I exercise every day now. I drink water. I don't drink coffee anymore.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's
Yeah.
a good thing. Like I really didn't know if it was going to happen. But when I started seeing the results, and
Yeah.
fast results,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, without any chemicals, like any pills or anything, and it's really amazing. And now I don't take blood pressure medication anymore either.
That's a blessing. That's a testimony right there. I need me to get to church or something. That's a testimony.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
beautiful. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
So everything, just treating your body, the way it should be. That's it.
So what else changed for you? I know we mentioned you dropped the weight, you're feeling good. I know we talked about, I remember we had a call and we talked about the way you were feeling about yourself, the way you were when how we walked in the room and he's like, oh, wait, is that Moose? My glasses on. That is Moose, yeah. Like, how was the life changing with your family, with yourself, with your love life? Like, what was different for you?
So, like the very first time, it was when somebody at work had been on vacation, and
Mhm.
I back, and she just looked at me and she's like, "Wait, have you been losing weight?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, yes." you know,
Mhm.
and she was like, "Oh my God, like you look great, like
Mhm.
what are you doing, and all that." And that was the first time that I'm like, "Oh, like somebody's noticing,"
Yeah.
So, of course that felt great, and um, and just having like that much energy,
Hmm.
you and having the 8 hours of sleep, and you feel like you really rested, during the night, and then you feel refreshed in the morning and ready to go,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that was the difference for me, because I was, as I said, I was like sleeping and getting up, and I'm still tired,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, so that was great, like with my daughter, we started also, like cooking more, at home, and we had like on Sundays, right? Like we had our like cooking show.
There we go. There we go. I was waiting for you to mention that. I didn't want to bring it up. I want to let you do it, but
Yes. So we started, like looking for recipes that we could do at home, like, and really looking into it without really like going out there, like, but doing something that was we were comfortable with, and trying new things,
yeah,
you know, trying new vegetables, trying new things to do, and that was good. Like, so that was a really good bonding experience, I will say, as well,
yeah, yeah.
you and then, my partner, he was like, "Oh my God, like you look great," and
Mm-hmm.
he kept saying, now to this day, he's like, "Oh my God, your body looks so amazing," and
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know and of course, he's like, "Well, it's not that you didn't look good before, but now it's like you really look good." you
Yeah.
know So yeah, it's good. It's good, and
Yeah.
it's good to things and not having the pains and aches in your body. So
Mhm.
so yeah. So it's everything, is
Just
for the better.
overall, it's just overall good for you. Sounds like we all want to be part of Lucy's world now. I guess it just sounds like it's utopia over there.
It really changed, and like am I more like looking into the food that I buy, like if it's really gonna do good or bad to my body, which beginning I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna take it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's more mindful too, like it's not just a change in your body, but a change in your mind as well.
100%.
You know,
100%.
yes.
So, like, were you skeptical about anything when you came on? Like, before you came aboard, were you skeptical about anything at all?
Well, like I was like, well, I don't know if this is gonna work. Of course, like with everything, right? Like I was like, oh yeah, I
Hmm.
don't know if this is gonna work. But after a while, you can see it, and it's really different, and once you start seeing the results, it's like, as I said, I wasn't even doing any exercises, and everything was changing right there, and just by journaling and having those first 8 hours of sleep, I was like, oh my God, like this is
Yeah.
really working, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes.
So, to those watching right now, those who are like, I want to do it. I'm sold, but I'm not sold. Like, what do you say to those people who are on the fence who want to come on in, but they're not sure? Like, what do you have to say to them?
Well, I think like the very first thing is that really being committed to change, being
Hmm.
to yourself, and I will say, like if you don't try it, nothing is gonna change. You have to give it a try, you have to have that mindset, that okay, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna commit to it, and I really want to change for myself.
Right.
You
Right.
know, just having that will that okay, like I am ready for the change. I'm tired of my life before, like I really need to change, and I want to maintain that.
Yeah.
I will say like give it a try, like it's worth it. You are not going to regret it, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's a unique point of view. And to those who, some people that look at fitness or they look at like getting a coach, they look at it as like a cost. Like they look at it like, I don't know, it costs money. It might be a little bit too much for me. What do you think about that? What do you say to that?
Well, that was one of the big things that I was worried about too, at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being a single mom, being me taking care, of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't know, how much is it gonna be, but I think it's worth it,
Mm-hmm.
like once, as I said, like I cannot stress it enough, like once you start seeing the results,
Mm-hmm.
like it's really worth it, like you are always there, you are one to one with us, and you're always there. Any questions or anything, like I could text you, like I was like, hey coach, can I do this, can I not do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So so it's not that you're just gonna pay for something and then I won't see you ever again, or I won't
Mm-hmm.
talk to you ever again.
Right.
Like we had our calls, you will send, the meal plan and the exercises. So, like it's really interactive, it's both parties are, really much, in connection there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I think it's really worth it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that was your experience. I really am. I know you worked really hard to make it happen. I know that we had a lot of times, like even after the first few weeks, you're like, oh, I know I'm still dealing with the physical therapist and I don't know what we can do
Yes.
here. And I kind of felt maybe I read it wrong, but it felt like you had like a little bit of doubt, like I don't know if this will work for me. I don't know if this is gonna work. We have to kind of figure out, okay, what can we do to make progress now until
Yes.
then we can add that back in. So I think we did that pretty smoothly, you and I.
Oh, yes. definitely. You know, that was the thing at the beginning. You know, I was like, I don't know. You know, now with my back, because I think it was like within the first week. You know,
Right.
when I signed up with you, and then I had the injury, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I don't know if I could be doing this, you know, because I cannot exercise, because now I have to go to physical therapy, you know. So he was like, I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
but
Right.
but yeah, but you were always supportive about it, you know. You said, you know, we're gonna take it slow, go with physical therapy, you know, and then we're gonna complement it, you know, with something else. And that's how like really when it came to that, like it transitioned so smoothly. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
finished physical therapy, you know, we were working together, and then I started doing my routines, and I really it wasn't hard at all.
Off to the races. Off to the
Yes.
races.
Yes.
Truly sore for the ages. Truly sore for the ages. You come on in, you live a lifestyle where caffeine and junk food and stress were your infinity stones. And here we are,
Yes.
14 weeks later, actually. 14 weeks later. We finished up a week or two ago. And here you are in a place where working out feels simple. You're not reliant on coffee anymore. The the heart pill, the pills you had for your condition, those are no longer in the picture for the blood pressure.
Yep.
And you're in a
That's
place that you just feel like more in peace with yourself. And that's priceless in my opinion. That's very priceless.
yes. You know, like and like yesterday they told me I was working last night, and somebody just told me, you know, it's like, oh my God, like you don't look like you are under stress anymore. You know, like I could see that it doesn't matter, you know, like it's really stressful, you know, and all that what you do right now, because you know, being in charge of the whole house, right? Like it's like a lot of responsibility, you
Mm-hmm.
know, as a supervisor now. But so they're like, yeah, you don't look stressed anymore, you know, like you look really calm and all that. And I'm like, well, you know, like it's just different. You don't take everything so seriously anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like it's, you know, it is something different. You know, your mindset is not there, you know, like it's just it just changes, you know, like how you see the world really, you know,
Yeah.
after you start taking care of yourself and all that, you know. So it's not that, oh, I have to be like 100%, you know, in my job, and I have to do the best thing right that I can do, and I'm here like 24/7, and if I don't do
Mm-hmm.
this, it's gonna collapse. No, you know,
Yeah.
you don't have that anymore, you know. So that was a good thing, you know. I said, you know what? I said, I really don't feel stressed, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, usually before when I was feeling like a stressful, you know, like a stressful situation or something, I would just go and get a cup of coffee,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm like, I don't need that anymore, you know, like I am calm, I am good, you know, like it's good, you know, like
Yeah.
it just feels so different, you know, from before.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm sure they're glad to hear it. I know you're glad to hear it. So we're all on the same page here. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, listen, Lucy, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming on out here, logging on in at the middle of your day to come talk here to me and the rest of the people. I appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
Awesome. Awesome.
You know, thank you. Thank you, really changing my life. You know, that is like a really big thing.
Good. Good. I like that. I like that. And now you're in a place where you can continue to do it and you can keep it and make it a lifetime routine. You can keep it for yourself and your kids and your family and everybody that can get a piece of that.
Yes, yes.